of clothing ought to make you pretty. You can cut the clothing, grey is such a pity. I should wear the clothing of Mr. Walter Mitty. See my tailor, he's called Simon. I know it's going to fit. Here's a little bit of advice, you're quite welcome, it is free. Don't do nothing that is cut price, you know what they'll make you be. They will try their tricky device, trap you with the ordinary. Get your teeth into a small slice, the cake of liberty. Sex and drugs and rock and roll. 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 Sex and drugs and rock and roll.
What is wrong with this place today? Have you seen that? I must apologise. Something happened to the transmission there. What happened there? Have you any idea what happened?
No idea, but there's a bit of a flap on Ken and the undertone were running into one another, bumping into Keystone cups.
You have to see this, right? oh, that's okay. See, what happens is, let me explain what the mirth, or as Barry McElduff would say, what the levity is about. I've got a big arm here, and on the end of my arm is the microphone that I speak into. Now, it's attached to a wooden panel, which is about 3 feet away from me. Now, it won't stay down. It won't stay down. It's staying down now, so I have to hold it down. Anyway, what happened there? Was there some kind of misfunction? Malfunction, should I say? Was there?
Well, we went off air.
I don't know. It may have been some digger driver, maybe pushed his way through some kind of pipe, but I don't know. Anyway, good morning. Welcome to the programme. You see, that would have thrown another broadcaster. But I'm okay, because I'm a professional. I can handle it.
You're like Melvin Bragg sitting in there this morning. Look at the hair. Look at the hair, Emma. Look at the hair. Look at the hair.
It's very funny.
Yeah. Einstein. Morning, Einstein, Emma said. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Fix your hair.
I'm not going to fix
your
it.
Your headphones fell off, and when you pulled them on, you've got your hair. That's it now. Put your headphones. That's better. That's better. Right.
Good morning, everyone. The number to ring if you want to contact this programme is 08459 555 678. The email address is gerry.anderson@bbc.co.uk, and the text messaging service is 81771. Some people are worried out there. Apropos the programme that goes before us, a gentleman says, how come every time I hear Nolan's new jingles, I expect Dave Lee Travis or Peter Powell to come on afterwards? Let the sun shine. That's from Manny. Have you heard those jingles?
They're very old.
Very old. You see, that's what happens when a man comes to music late.
Yeah.
He loves everything. It's not easy. Anyway, back to what we do best. Wishing happy birthday to people.
Have you been painted?
No, I haven't been painted. I don't know what that means, but I'm saying no anyway. What do you mean by that?
I was told you were.
You were told I was painted. Now, explain to me in what context you think I was painted. I've been black enamelled. What?
You have a very cowboy colour about you today.
Okay, let me explain how that came about.
Yes.
You may have seen a great orb in the sky. It's called the sun.
No.
It's been out this last 3 days, right? Now, you may notice that I leave here at approximately 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you may notice that I don't come back until the next morning. And you may also be aware that I live down beside the water. Mm-hmm. And you also may be aware that often when the sun comes out, I decide to work from home.
Oh, yes.
Because I get more done.
Yeah.
This means that I can go home and go for walks along the beach. And as you walk along the beach, the sun strikes your skin. And sometimes, if you do it long enough, you get what is known as a slight tan. And that's what this is. This is not painted. This is ordinary weather-beaten stuff. This is a healthy sheen.
It's been pointed out to me that it's rather streaky.
It's not streaky.
Well, that's what I was told.
Who told you it was
I'm not
streaky?
telling
Here and
you.
there, was
I'm
it?
not telling you her name.
Well, it's not streaky, and it's not. It maybe. I'll tell you where it's streaky. I know what that's about. Down at the
I
bottom.
don't know. I was just told to have a look at you. And I
Well,
said,
look at me now.
No, I'm not looking
I'm
at
going to
you.
show you something. There's only one streaky bit. You see the bottom of my neck there?
Yeah.
Well, you see, sometimes when I sit down to relax, sometimes I read the paper. I sit down on the beach and I read the paper. I read a book, and when I do that, to put my
What beach were you on yesterday?
the one that I live beside, Culmore, with the dead dogs on it.
There's a beach there.
There is a beach there.
A beach.
It's not sand. It's not sand.
Is there?
Yes.
Is there?
Yes.
I've never been on
I
it.
live on a beach.
I've never been on it.
You should come down sometime, but don't come near my house, because I won't let you in.
A beach.
Do you know Henry Drucker's castle?
Yes.
There. What do you think that is? There's a lighthouse there. You know,
There
there's a
is.
white
Yes,
lighthouse?
yes.
Everybody knows that. It's called Culmore Point. There's a beach there.
Is there?
Yes. It's about 4, maybe half a mile long.
4, maybe half a mile long. What's that? How far is that?
I meant to say 400 yards. I meant to say 400 yards, maybe half a mile long. 4, maybe 19 yards. It's a lovely beach, and there's nobody ever on it.
Right, yeah.
That's why I go on it. I never go out at night, because everybody goes out at night after 5. I stay in, because there's a lot
Let's
of
go
people.
down and investigate that.
There's
beach.
a lot of people like you, and I know you're like this. A lot
I'm
of
going
people
down
go
there
out-
tonight.
Don't be going down there
I
tonight.
will. I'll be
No,
down.
go down tonight, because I won't be out.
Yes,
I go
tonight.
in at 5 and I don't come out again.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of people down there, not down there specifically. And these good nights, a lot of people go out for a walk, but they don't want to go out for a walk. They're out to look for people to talk to. You know, the lonely people.
Right.
You're one of those. I'm not suggesting you're lonely, but you're a man who likes talking to people. See, when you go out for a walk, do you like stopping, talking to people, or do you hide when people come along?
I don't. I certainly don't hide.
I hide. All
But
depends.
it all depends on the body language of the other person.
Exactly. Or in the shape of them.
No,
or who
you
they
know,
are.
if you, when you see someone, you're out walking, they're out walking. Some people may be timing themselves. They may be, you understand, and they don't want to stop. They just want to say, "Oh, you all right? Oh, it's a great night
You
tonight."
can always
and
tell the
walk
man
on.
who doesn't want you to talk to them.
Yes, it all depends, and you know that if this person usually slows up and says, "Well, what about you, Kyle?"
Oh, not.
And then you know,
the
you know
worst
this
thing
is
is
a talk.
any crack.
Well, yeah.
And then what do you say to that? What's the
It's
crack?
so
What do you say to
difficult.
that?
I know.
Oh, what crack would I have at my time of life? Well, that kind of thing.
Ken said that to me this morning.
The wee shite.
Any crack, he says.
Oh,
I
he's
didn't know what they
terrible.
said.
Maybe he means something else entirely. You know what he's like.
Yeah.
Hi, Gerry. Please say happy
But you
birthday.
don't. At least I talk. No, let's not move away just yet. No, but at least I would stand and talk to people. You don't.
I don't know.
You give that body language. Oh, you want to walk on past.
That's why I like the bike. When you're on the bike, you whiz past them. And you say, oh, hey. You're gone.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can't walk fast enough to avoid people. Not that there's anything wrong with people, but I'm basically antisocial.
I have found now that the people, I'm not lying about this, but I have found that the general conversation that I would have with people is when you're out walking, we talk about, how long have you been walking? No, have you been walking an hour? What do you do? What's your route? And you ask people their route. And I was talking to, and then the other night that I was talking to a man, and he was telling me about his breakfast. How he looks after himself.
What an exciting life you
Yeah.
lead. Well, tell me, what does he have for breakfast?
Well, he would have had Weetabix or bran flakes.
He's telling you this.
Yes, he's telling me this.
Does he have any fruit at all?
Yes, he likes to eat the fruit.
Does
yes.
he?
And doesn't drink during the week and go out the
No.
weekend, cut down on the drink, all that sort of thing.
Why is he telling you this?
And then they ask you, then they will say, he says, I have a wee bit of high blood pressure. And then you say, so have I. I said, do you? What do you take? And then you start to talk about tablets.
And then you say, have you seen this scar from my appendicitis?
No, a man tried to show me his knee the other night.
Oh, that's how it starts.
I wouldn't look at it.
No,
A man
don't.
he just got a new knee and he wanted me to look at his scar. And he pulled up his trousers.
I'm sure he did.
And I wouldn't look. I said, look.
It strikes me that many of these men that you talk to are stricken in years. Many of them are elderly. I mean, if a young girl, you'd say, yeah, give us a look at your knee.
Yeah, but can you imagine? Like, I'm standing on a main road
I
and a
know.
man's pulling his trousers up. You know what I mean?
What will the people think?
And I turned me back on him. I was wise. I said, I'm turning me back. I said, I'm not turning around until you lower your leg.
How many times have we heard that before? I used to live, many years ago when I was a young lad, about 16 or 17, 18 summers, I think I probably was, maybe 17. I lived in Manchester.
Yes.
And I played in a band, and we were part of a resident band in a place that should have been condemned 10 years before, but was only knocked down 5 or 6 years after that. It was an Irish club in Brunswick Street in Manchester. People listening in Manchester may well remember this. It was called
Brunswick
Shorrocks.
Street.
It was an abomination in
Where
front of...
was Brunswick Street?
Off Oxford Road, near where the BBC headquarters are now. BBC Oxford Road. Of course, they've moved to Salford now. But near there, Brunswick Street, where the ABC
Is that
cinema,
near Piccadilly?
Ardwick.
Is it near Piccadilly?
Yes, it is quite near.
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
within comfortable walking distance.
Right.
And we used to play there. The place was an abomination before the Lord. Anyway, when we played there, we lived in these digs with a woman who had 15 Yorkshire Terriers. And we once kidnapped one. When she came upstairs to see if the room was on fire or not, used to hear 42 feet. 2 belonging to her and 40 belonging to the 15. You counting that?
15.
You got that?
5, 4.
You got it?
All right.
Everything okay?
Is it 15 dogs?
Yeah. Is it okay? Can I carry on?
No, that's wrong.
Is it wrong?
Yeah.
42? No, I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I'm
come
wrong.
on,
It's
come on.
60,
60, yeah,
62
yeah,
feet.
yeah.
Anyway, there was one called, they were all named after a drink, the 15 dogs. There was brandy and whiskey and gin, right down to, Sliffa Fluff or something like that. Some strange Zambuca. And anyway, she used to come in and open the door. Everything okay? Can I come in and look at your room? And say, no, you can't. And then she would open it up because she had her own key. And then she'd come in and look around the room to see if the mattress wasn't on fire and stuff like that. And all the dogs used to come in as well. You see? So she used to do this regularly. She'd do it every week. And we'd be sitting there drinking beer and stuff, and rolling cigarettes, that kind of thing that you'd found on the floor of the dance hall. We used to lift up butts and take them all home and take off the burnt bits. And leave all the tobacco and then roll them all up because we had no money. We used to starve and everything. And she knew we were starving and she knew we had no money. But we used to be able to pay the rent because somebody else paid it for us. Anyway, we decided to...
Sorry, sorry, I didn't mean that.
I heard that.
I know.
So we decided to kidnap one of her dogs.
Right.
So she came in one day.
I heard this story before and I want to hear how it ends.
I'm not going to tell you.
No, go on.
I can't remember how it ends. We kidnapped one of the dogs and it was called Brandy. We kept it for days.
Right.
And we finally let it go.
That was a
That's
very,
all.
that was a very quick story.
I know, but I can't remember how it went. Because if I tell you the wrong end, it'll be bad. Anyway, there was a man there who was married to her, and he used to sit in the cellar and drink all the time. And he had been in World War II. Remember, this is only about 20 years after the end of the Second World War.
Right.
You going to work that one out?
Yeah.
Give him a pen, Emma.
45, 65.
Got it?
Yeah.
All right, then.
All right.
So he used to say, hey, guys, come down and have a drink. So we used to go down and have a drink. And every once in a while, there was me and 2 other guys. And every once in a while, he would roll up. This is what reminded me. He would roll up his trouser leg and show us his leg.
Oh.
And his leg had been hit by shrapnel.
Oh, God bless him.
In France or somewhere like that,
Yeah.
Normandy or somewhere. And it hadn't healed properly. And we used to look at it. And he would wave it and everything, and take it up in the air. Look at that, he said, look at that. And I'll never forget, I can see that now. If anybody says to me, what does World War II mean to you? I always say, a man's leg in Manchester. Because I have a tangible reminder of that great conflict. It's a terrible thing to say, I know.
There's a wee call for you.
Is there really? Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Gerry.
I'm sorry about the confusion at the start of the programme. This doesn't usually happen. All the things that went wrong just went wrong at the same time. And not only did the thing not work, but my microphone was springing up and down in front of me. It was like a nightmare. But we've got it all sorted now because Ken didn't come in.
Good.
We had to do it ourselves. Anyway, go ahead. What can we do for you today?
Gerry, I was talking to you yesterday about my wife's parrot had disappeared.
Yes, did you find it?
Great news. Literally about an hour and a half after the show went off air, a lady, Mrs. Hughes, and her husband from North Belfast rang up to say that they had located the bird. And they actually had it in a little cardboard box.
And you told them not to get near it because it might nip them, and they went.
Well, as I said to you, Gerry, to be aware of it because it bites, and unfortunately, Mr. Hughes ended up getting his finger bit when he tried to get the bird. So when I arrived there was a trail of blood up the driveway. that I was able to follow up to where the parrot was located in the box.
Well, he can't say he wasn't warned.
No, well, actually, in fact, he wasn't warned because he hadn't actually heard the show.
Oh.
What had happened was when they had got the little parrot, they had contacted the USPCA, and someone in the USPCA says, "I think I heard somebody in the Gerry Anderson show inquiring about the parrot."
Yeah.
So they got in touch with the show and they gave out my telephone number.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Honest to goodness, my wife is absolutely over the moon, so she is.
Oh, that's great. Just goes to show you this works. So how did the parrot get to him?
Well, basically, from where I live to where Mr. and Mrs. Hughes live, it's about 1.5 miles, 2 miles in sort of direct line of sight, sort of over the Cape Hill direction.
Well, did he poke did the man poke his finger in?
Well, Gerry, the thing was that he's got his wings clipped, so he can't fly very far.
Right, right.
And I say, when we got him back, the only sort of damage that was done on the wee bird was he had a wee bit of a cut in one of his claws. And I said to my wife that basically that's because he can't fly very far, so he's probably walked the most of that 2 miles to get over there. But no, Mr. Hughes had actually got a ladder. He'd landed on the roof of his house, and Mr. Hughes put a ladder up against the side of the wall and tried to coax him down with a bit of biscuit and that. And the little bird, Gonzo, come down the roof quite happily, looking for a bit of biscuit. And then Mr. Hughes made a grab for him, caught hold of him, and unfortunately Gonzo turned around and gave him a good bite and drew blood. And then took off and went across the road, another route just across the road from him. But with a bit of perseverance, they coaxed him down and they got him into a cardboard box anyway.
I shouldn't be laughing.
As I say, I saw the trail of blood up to the cardboard box, and then inside the cardboard box there was a couple of tiny wee spots of blood.
Yeah, so he fought his rescue tooth and nail. I mean, that's great to hear that. That's encouragement for people.
Traumatized yesterday. We sort of kept him in. He ate and he drank. You know, there was a flock of parrots down there. I think he hadn't eaten or drank too much in his journey.
He'd be glad of it.
So he's sort of recovered this morning, and he's effing and blinding, as I say. And
yes.
Just there a couple of seconds ago, he was calling for the dogs. So
good.
I think he's settling back
back to normal.
Again.
That's great. This is encouraging news for people who do lose pets because they can't retrieve them through this program.
We lost one last year, but unfortunately his wings weren't clipped, and when he took off, he was like
he wasn't coming
in the sky.
He wasn't coming back.
So there was no chance of catching him.
I'll never forget the woman who contacted this program, and I say this every once in a while, but I never forget it. She contacted this program, and she had lost, like yourself, an African grey parrot, and she said, I'm very fond of this parrot. She says, if anybody sees it, make sure they feed it because I'm worried in case it might die because of malnutrition. And I said, right, what kind of what would you feed it? It says, it doesn't like chicken. I said, well, I could have figured that out myself.
Then, no?
It doesn't like chicken. All right, then, listen, congratulations. What?
Sorry.
Brilliant job. I said to you yesterday, Gerry, you're the patron saint St. Anthony of small furry things and flying objects. So
I am the patron saint of small furry
things. Come up trumps this time for us, and I'm really pleased. And I say a really, really big thank you. And I'm sorry to Mr. Hughes that he got a net, but a real big thank you to him for locating him and getting him back to us.
Sounds like a gentleman. Okay.
Sharon wants to ask David a question about his parrot. Sharon's on too. Is that all right?
Really? Is that okay?
Would David take
yes.
a question?
Sharon, you're talking. Sharon, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, you can talk to David there. I think he can hear you.
Hello, David.
Can you hear?
Yes, I heard her, yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Can you ask David, is his parrot a male or female?
Is your parrot male or female?
To the best of our knowledge, he's a male because generally speaking with African greys, they will bond with their opposite. So in other words, this parrot of ours bonds very severely with my wife. And if I go near him, he'd take a nip at me. He doesn't like men, so I think that's why Mr. Hughes ended up getting a wee nip.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But it is possible. There's a method of sexing parrots by taking one of their feathers and sending it away for DNA testing, and that there would confirm. Unfortunately, when we decided to get ours done, the chap that we had bought him from, when we were on holiday, we left him down with Liam. And when I went down to collect the bird, and it said to Liam, like, I wonder, we're 90% certain that he's a boy, but would you mind sort of doing the wee tests and getting it away and getting it confirmation. And at that point, I was just putting him into a little carrying box, and Liam said, "Yeah, no problem." He reached over and plucked off one of the wee fellers off his chest, whereby Gonzo turned around and took a lump out of me.
Well, you'd be the same yourself, you know. All right.
But,
okay, I'm
that's-
sorry, but look, we're having a wee bit of trouble linking up the two there. Okay, love?
Okay.
Thank you. Listen, thank you very much, sir.
No, thank you very much, Gerry. I'd say, you know, you've saved my life, because from Sunday, you would have thought there'd been a death in the family.
Oh, all right then.
And my wife had actually said that yesterday, just before we recovered the bird, she'd cleared up the last of the feathers and seed and stuff that had been scattered about the house. And she was actually going to put a new tablecloth on the table. You know, she normally has a little PlayStation type thing that she sets on the kitchen table for the parrot.
Yeah.
And she was going to put a new tablecloth on it. And now she can't do that there because Gonzo's back.
All right, so
Listen, thanks very much, Gerry. Thanks to everybody.
okay.
David, would you not know when, you know, would you not know when they go to the toilet, say? Would you not, is there no telltale signs
Of what?
what sex it is, you know? You know what I mean?
What do you mean, when you go to the toilet?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
That's what I don't know. How does
Sean,
a parrot go?
Sean, it's not like you can, like a wee mouse that you can turn it upside down and have a wee fiddle about there.
No, but
Because, say, with this boy here, you turn him upside down, have a fiddle about, and you'll
Does
have
not
about
lift
2
his
fingers
leg.
to check with.
What Mr. Collins is trying to get at?
does he lift his leg up against the bars of the cage or anything?
No.
Or, no, he doesn't. No, there's no,
No.
signs.
No, he does what we call bombs away. You know,
All
he
right.
gets up on his perch and does what
Okay,
is
and
necessary.
yeah,
But
yeah.
no, the proper way of doing it is actually to recover one of his feathers and send it away, and then you get 100% confirmation. But say
Okay.
this boy over here, we're certain he's a fella.
That's like, you know, if
There must be another way of knowing.
that's like sending away your suit.
Yeah, but you know, if he has a
Oh, listen, stop now.
You know, so-
okay?
so
Listen,
careless.
Well,
thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
John,
yes.
Jerry, sorry, just a wee quick one here. I was at a meeting there on Saturday, and part of the raffle prizes, there's a few mystery prizes in that there. And one of the mystery prizes, one of the fellows beside me had won, and it was 2 pregnancy test kits. So maybe I'll give him a shout and see if I can do a test on the power with that there.
That's a very handy thing to have in Bradley Square on a Friday night. All right, listen, thank you very much.
Listen, thanks a lot, Jerry.
Thank you.
All the
Bye.
best. Bye-bye now.
Bye. It's not interesting to find out the sex of a parrot. You have to pluck
know, there must
a
be
feather
some
out of his
other
chest and send it away. But that's a great idea. Do you know the way?
But if you put 3 parrots in the one cage, surely you'll find out.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah,
But,
would
you
you?
know, it'll take a while.
Yeah, but surely you would know.
I think something like that should be applied to men. You know, it's easy to know if a man is male or whatever it is. You don't have to send away a feather out of his chest. But I think, wouldn't it be a great thing for women? For instance, if you were going out with a guy and, you know, at the beginning and you don't know much about him,
Yeah.
that there should be some kind of test, you know, to kind of determine what kind of a person he is. It would save the girl a lot of time. Do you know the way... No, you don't do this because you're not a normal person. You know, when you were young, you would have met... No, maybe a girl would have met you and says, "Oh, he's nice. I think he's lovely." You see, and then she'll go out with him. But when she finds out maybe 2 or 3 weeks later that he's a gobshite, you know, that's 3 weeks wasted. I think if you see someone that you kind of fancy and they ask you out, you should maybe, you know, send something away belonging to him to some laboratory. They could find out something about him that you may need to know. Maybe one of your socks. Do you know what I mean? Wouldn't that be great? We send away somebody's sock.
A hair from your chest.
A hair from your... No, the sock would be better. You can tell a lot from about a man from his sock.
Can
you know
you?
you can.
No,
yeah.
you can't.
Oh, yes, you can.
No.
I've seen yours.
Oh.
I could read you like a book. Anyway, that's great. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
All
you.
right.
Time for a little music interlude because people expect music in this show and rarely get it. And when they do get it, it's not the music they want. I like this. I haven't gone away, you know.
It's a one-time thing. It just happens a lot. Walk with me, and we will see what we have got. My footsteps are ticking like water dripping from a tree, walking a hairline and stepping very carefully. My heart is broken. It's worn out at the knees, hearing muffled, seeing blind. Soon it will hit the deep freeze. And something is cracking. I don't know where. Ice on the sidewalk, brittle branches in the air. The sun is blinding, dizzy golden dancing green through the park in the afternoon, wondering where the hell I have been.
That's a good song. It's ridiculous.
The microphone's
crazy.
away again.
Apart from everything else, a person called Viv Quinn says that the coverage has gone to hell in Cookstown. What's going on? I don't know what's going on.
Your telephone
It's gone as well.
That was terrible this morning.
I know,
so
it's
the
unbelievable.
quality of that telephone.
What can I do? There's nothing I can do about this. I apologise. A little announcement. Titanic, the musical, is opening in the Grand Opera House on April 10th. Already there are sold-out performances, and we appreciate and anticipate houseful signs for all performances. But we have a major problem. That's from David Robinson, chairman of the Belfast Operatic Company. That's Titanic the musical, opening in the Grand Opera House on April the 10th. A lot of people want to go and see that. We've been let down by the supply of the props we need for the ship's bridge. We urgently need a ship's wheel and a telegraph. That's a device that communicates with the engine room for engines ahead. Could please put out an appeal for anyone in the province, if they have any of these items, please beg, steal, borrow or steal them, or even hire them. We will collect, look after them and return them the week after the 16th of April. I'll mention that again in the second half of the programme. So anyone's got that, whatever that is, I'll mention it again later.
On 92 to 95 FM
and 1341 medium wave.
This is BBC Radio Ulster.
BBC News at 11 o'clock. I'm Anne-Marie Foster. Detectives investigating the murder of Simon Tang, who was attacked and robbed outside his takeaway business in Carrickfergus in 1996, have arrested a 53-year-old woman. She's being questioned in Antrim. The Gardaí say human remains have been found in Donegal. They were discovered by walkers on the shore of Lough Foyle near Redcastle yesterday evening. Gardaí say they've contacted the PSNI in an effort to determine the identity of the remains. Downing Street has dismissed claims that it's causing panic over the threatened petrol strike by urging motorists to make contingency plans, such as ensuring they have a full tank. Labour described the comments as the height of irresponsibility, but Number 10 insists it was alerting drivers to the possibility of disruption in a calm-headed and sensible way. A former head of the Civil Contingency Secretariat at the Cabinet Office, Mike Granite, said how the public and politicians react to the situation is crucial.
Public behaviour is absolutely vital to this. If everybody rushes out and fills up their fuel tanks at the same time, not even the fuel supply system that we have in place can stand that. It's a just-in-time system. It provides fuel to the roadside stations just in time to make sure they can supply normal consumption. I think that the government will be very anxious to make sure that people are encouraged to keep their tanks reasonably full, but not to spend their time queuing up for the last 2 pints of petrol.
The UK economy shrank by more than previously estimated in the final quarter of last year. The Office for National Statistics has revised the figure to 0.3% between October and December. The operator of the Elgin platform in the North Sea, which is leaking highly flammable gas, says a flare on the installation was left burning deliberately. Total said it was burning off gas from the production process and stressed that there was no imminent threat of an explosion. Sport now with Grant Cameron.
Mark Allen has bowed out of snooker's China Open at the first hurdle, losing 5 frames to 2 against England's Ricky Walden. England's cricketers are 43 for 1, chasing a record 340 runs to win the first test against Sri Lanka. Alistair Cook's out for 14. GAA disciplinary chiefs have summoned Armagh's Kieran McKeever and Billy Sheehan of Laois to give their versions of a half-time tunnel incident earlier this month. The players are to appear at a Croke Park hearing tonight. And Liverpool manager Kenny Dalglish is hopeful midfielder Charlie Adam could play again before the end of the season. The Scotland international strained knee ligaments in last week's league defeat at QPR.
Finally, the weather forecast with Angie Phillips.
Plenty of warm sunshine again today, and temperatures should reach 20 or 21 Celsius. Today that's more likely towards the down coast rather than the north, where it'll probably feel a bit fresher than recent days, with an onshore west to northwesterly breeze developing. After the warm day, it'll cool down fairly quickly again tonight, when there's a risk once again of localised ground frost and mist.
BBC News.
BBC Radio Ulster. Travel news.
The Tullydraw Road in Dungannon is closed between Mullaghmore Road and Tullycullion Road after an accident. Diversions are in place, but police are advising drivers to use another route. While in Newtonards, roadworks continue on the Cumber Road at Blenheim Drive. The work is due to be completed by the middle of next month, but drivers can expect long delays in both directions. Don't forget, if you want to keep up to date with traffic and travel news throughout the day, you can follow us on Twitter. Just follow at BBC NI Travel. Elaine Sutherland reporting.
Travel news on BBC Radio Ulster.
And talk back with Wendy Austin today. A Titanic day again, a Titanic programme. But if you tried to find the building on Google Maps, have a look now. What about getting there? All aboard for Titanic train station, public transport to the tourist attraction. That's great, if it goes there. Is everything going to be called after the ship, no matter how far away? Also today, is a young family a reason not to aim for the top? Should UUP leadership hopeful John McAllister drop out of the race for that reason? Stormont MLA David McClarty seems to think so. Is he right? We're also asking, what's happening with the tyre slashing in Portadown? Again, on Talkback at 12. Tyre slashing in Portadown. Titanic
Right,
stuff.
John.
Titanic is brilliant
Right.
and all that kind of thing.
Right.
What are you doing in there?
I'm talking to John.
Tell me
John, who are you looking for a wheel?
Get rid of him.
No, are you looking for a wheel and an old telegraph?
I am looking for it, yeah.
A wheel? And an old telegraph?
Yeah.
Well, John has one. Whenever I don't know what's going on. You see.
Some of y'all never been down south too much. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this so that you understand what I'm talking about. Down there we have a plant that grows out in the woods and the fields. Looks something like a turnip green. Everybody calls it poke salad. Poke salad. Used to know a girl lived down there and she'd go out in the evenings and pick her a mess of it, carry it home and cook it for supper. 'Cause that's about all they had to eat. They did all right. Down in Louisiana, where the alligators grow so mean, there lived a girl that I swear to the world made the alligators look tame. Poke salad, Annie. Poke salad, Annie. Everybody said it was a shame, 'cause her mama wasn't working on a chain gang. Vicious woman. Every day for supper time, she'd go down by the truck patch and pick her mess of poke salad and carry it home in a tow sack. Poke salad, Annie. The gator's got your granny. wretched, spiteful, straight razor toting woman. Lord, I must take my mess up. Her daddy was lazy and no count. Claimed he had a bad back. All her brothers were fit for was stealing watermelons out of my truck patch. Poke salad, Annie. The gators got your granny. Ooh. Everybody said it was a shame, 'cause her mama was working on a chain gang. Sock a little poke salad to me. You know I need me a mess of it. Ooh. Good God. Got to have me. Ate her up.
My, it's a beautiful world. I like swimming in the sea. I like to go out beyond the wide breakers, where a man can still be free, or a woman if you are one. I like swimming in the sea. My, it's a beautiful world. I like drinking Irish tea with a little bit of lapsang souchong. I like making my own tea. My, it's a beautiful world. I like driving in my car. I roll the top down, sometimes I travel quite far. Drive to the ocean, stare up at the stars. I like driving in my car. All around is anger, automatic guns. It's death in large numbers, no respect for women or our little ones. I tried talking to Jesus, but he just put me on hold. Said he'd been swamped by calls this week and he could not shake his cold. And still this emptiness persists. Perhaps this is as good as it gets. When you've given up the drink and those nasty cigarettes. Now leave the party early, at least with no regrets. I watch the sun as it comes up, I watch it as it sets. Yeah, this is as good as it gets. Oh my, it's a beautiful world. I like sleeping with Marie. She is one sexy girl, full of mystery. She says she doesn't love me, but she likes my company. For now, that's good enough for me. Oh my, it's a beautiful world. I like swimming in the sea. I like to go out beyond the wide breakers, where a man can still be free, or a woman if you are one. I like swimming in the sea. Yeah.
Okay, that first song was Billy Joe White. That was a song called Poke Salad Annie, which I've been playing every now and again purely because I love it. And that particular song that you just heard is called Beautiful World by Colin Hay. Now, I've got special guests with me today. Hello, good morning, folks.
Good morning,
How are
Gerry.
we today? Now, a lot of things, money is raised for children in need, and a lot of people don't know where it goes to, but there's a very special thing happening here tonight in the Waterside Theatre in Derry-Stoke, Londonderry, which I think is a wonderful thing, because the money you give to children in need is put to all kinds of uses, and this is a good example of how good it can do, because there are a lot of foreign pupils in our school from all kinds of countries, and we don't realise how hard it is for them to mingle and adjust. Now, my very favourite person from Poland, Mrs.
Hello.
Evelina O'Donnell.
Hello.
Great Polish name, by the way.
This of case. I was thinking of changing it for Evelyn because people still pronounce it Eulina, but I know they will get used to it.
It's
in
the
time.
O'Donnell bit I'm talking
Yes.
about. That's not particularly Polish, because you're married to a man from Derry, and God bless you.
I
God
know.
bless you.
It's not easy, Gerry.
What
It's
you have
not
to
easy.
put up with. And tell me who you've got with you.
Hello, I'm Malika from St Mary's College.
A wee bit closer to the microphone, Malika.
Yep, I'm Malika from St Mary's College.
That's it. And no, you're originally from Iran,
Yes,
Malika.
I'm from Iran.
And when did you come here? Did you come here when you were a little baby, or were you a little older?
No, I was okay. I was in primary school, and my primary school was model.
Yes.
And then since first year, I come to St Mary's, and I love it.
And had you any trouble with English at all? What was
yes,
it like for
I had
you?
no English, but I'm really thankful of Miss Lindsay and Miss O'Donnell that has really giving me a teacher to learn English. I'm really thankful of them.
Okay. And this other young lady, you're Chelsea,
Yeah, Jessica Hood from
Yes.
St Mary's College too.
and you're involved in this play as well.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, are the two young ladies acting in it? Are
Oh yes, they actually got one of the main parts. The play is called Sleeping Bully Cultural Fairy Tale, and
Yes.
I'm very happy because it's actually based on all Polish best legends and stories, and it wasn't my choice at all. I was just to be involved in that play as interpreter at the beginning, and then
Mhm.
we had a meeting. The play is 50% of actors are Polish children and
Yes.
children from different countries like Lithuanian, Panamanian, Spanish, Polish children, and
Is
half
that the
of it
kind of
are
range
Irish.
of people, the range of countries that people are at
Yes.
school here? Tell me
The
again.
majority is Polish at the moment and Lithuanian, but we have a lot of Spanish students coming as well.
Yeah.
Well, Melika is an exception. He's like a raisin on my cake. She's Iranian, and I don't have men of Iranian.
You're a raisin on her cake.
Oh, she's my wee pet, I must admit. And Chelsea is just is an Irish girl, and there is about 15 other Irish girls involved. And I just brought her here because, from her point of view, it's very interesting how she feels about Polish culture. They decided on a meeting in October
yeah.
that they want to base the play on Polish culture because they think our traditions are crazy, most colorful, and they never heard about anything like it. So
And how difficult is it for these children to adjust in an ordinary school like this? So what kind of problems do they have?
it's extremely difficult, Gerry, because really and truly every year principals like Miss Lindsay and say Mr. McGinty in St. Columns and the schools where I work, I can only talk about 5 schools, they trying their best to adjust the system to this new needs, to this new children coming. And there's not such a thing like EAL support teacher really in Northern Ireland. They have them in Britain, but here is a new thing. And I'm qualified as a teacher of English as a second language, and I'm employed in different schools to give them English support. But
And now you're a theatre director.
well, I actually ended up writing the script, but it wasn't planned at
You're
all.
a playwright, theatre director.
I have to be everything. I have to be flexible, but it's very hard for them because they come with no English, with no understanding of the culture here. Like Melika is Iranian. Everything here is crazy for her. They celebrate everything different. Even her year has different calendar. You know, so
What was the most difficult thing for you, Malika, when you came here? I know
English.
English?
Yeah.
But anything?
Talking.
Yeah, just communicating?
Yeah.
Yeah. And were people tolerant? I mean, did people help you?
Yeah.
So you were okay about
Yes,
that?
I was really okay, and I like it. I really
Good.
do.
Well, you look happy.
after
A
3
lovely
years,
shining face.
yeah.
So tell me about this play. It's on tonight. It's called Sleeping Bully,
Yeah.
and you can go along to the Waterside Theatre, which is a very nice theatre.
Yeah.
And it's tonight, and people can, if they want to go along, there's a phone number. It's Derry-Stoke Londonderry 314-000. That's 028 71 314 000. Or there's a website, AJ at watersidetheatre.com. And it's funded by Children in Need, but also the Arts Council in Northern Ireland and all kinds of people.
And also people who would like to come this evening, if they come at 7:15, we will do our best to accommodate them, even if they have no time to call. There is definitely about 25 seats left at the moment, but they'll be taken quite soon. So just come and see. It's fantastic. It's
and all the
completely...
children many different nationalities are on stage.
Oh my God, it's about 10 different nationalities. And the great thing is that all Polish main parts are played by foreign children. So like Malika is playing a Kashubian girl. She's like me. She's a Kashubian girl. Yes.
Yeah.
And Chelsea is Marzanna. So Chelsea, you say who you are. What's your party is about?
Well, I'm like made from rags and paper, and I'm like really big and fat, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, right.
And I'm burned on the first day of spring, before being drowned, and then the faster I move down the river, the faster winter does appear and spring.
Yeah.
Blossoms.
We've a person played that part before on this radio station. He's made of rags and paper and he's big and fat. He's called Stephen Nolan.
Oh, that's horrible, Gerry. No.
Listen, best of luck to you tonight. And the number to ring if you want to go along, because it's a great example of what's going on. And it's a whole different world here, and it's the future, isn't it?
I think it's gonna be enjoyable for people because it's a fairy tale, but it's also with a hidden message that we should understand each other.
Yeah, open our minds just a wee bit.
We are all the same. We just celebrate things in a different way. And of course, Gerry, first row, sit in the middle is reserved for you. So if you're not coming, we are huffing.
All right.
Then, okay. Come.
I'm terribly busy. I'll try. Thank you, Malika, and thank you, Chelsea, and thank you, Evelina.
Thank you very much,
for coming in, and have a great time. I'll remind the people of how they can get tickets for that tonight.
Please do.
On.
Oh, I got me a woman, she's a pretty good woman at that. We live with a monkey and a Chinese acrobat. She calls me Tex, makes me wear a cowboy hat. But I don't care, she's a pretty good woman at that. Nothing in the world make me treat that woman mean. She shaves my beard and she keeps my tractor clean. She burns my bread, makes me eat turnip greens. But I don't care, she's the best little woman I've seen. Some folks they move out to California, and some folks they stay in Tennessee. And I don't care where I'm headed, just as long as that woman stands by me. My baby and blowing on the slide trombone. She talks in tongues, oh, she really turns me on. With a woman like that, a man never wants to roam. Some folks they move out to California. Some folks they stay in Tennessee. Just as long as that one
That's Lee Von Helm. That's a track from an album called Dirt Farmer, and that's called I Got a Woman. I think these wee kids are wonderful. You know, it's... Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, sorry to interrupt you. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I think those wee kids are wonderful, all those kids from all over the world, and they're in that play tomorrow night. That's great. This is the future. You know, you should open up our eyes. These are children who are going to be our citizens tomorrow, from all over the world, from Panama, from Iran, from Latvia, from Poland, everywhere. It's fantastic, and they're lovely. And they're not like us. You know the way we're horrible and nasty. They're nice and open and beautiful.
Malcolm's on one.
Is he?
Yes.
Good morning, Malcolm. See the way people don't
Gerry.
care. Good morning, Malcolm. I'm fighting a losing battle here.
Well, right. I'll be quick with this now for I have no appointment till 11:30. They were on there on your programme about the parrots and sexing them.
Yes.
Well, I keep pigeons, and there's a simple way of being fairly sure of sexing them, and that is to hold the board in your hand, get a piece of metal, should it be a coin or a piece of metal on the end of, or a washer on the end of a piece of string, and just hold it about an inch above the rump of the board.
The bird's arse?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if it goes around in a circle, it's a hen. And if it runs straight up and down its back, it's a cock.
I think I've seen that being done in Bradbury Place on a Friday night. I'm not entirely sure. Does that work, does it?
It does work out, because 95%.
Give us that again for the case, for the sake of people who may have missed that.
Just a piece of metal on the end of a piece of string, about 6 inches long.
Yeah.
And just hold the board in your hand with the head towards your body.
Yeah.
And and just hold it and hold the thing above its rump.
Yeah.
About an inch above its rump.
Yeah.
And it'll settle. When it settles down, you'll see it starting to swing around the circle, or else it start running up and down. And if it runs straight up and down its back, it's a male, and if it goes around the circle, it's a female.
That is the weirdest thing.
I've even tried that out with a pregnant woman.
Does it work?
It did work, yes.
Here, we have one here.
But you can try it out there and see.
Sean, get a piece of string and a lump of metal. Emma, lie down there.
Okay, Gerry, I'll have to go.
Oh, thank you very much.
Right now.
That's the weirdest thing I ever heard.
Isn't that great? That is so weird that it would possibly work.
No.
But you mean there's easier ways than that?
I'm not buying that.
I mean, if you have two African grey parrots, right? Okay.
There's a man waiting to get into the dentist.
Is that right?
Yes, but he's
Steve's
got an appointment at 11:30 with the dentist, and he's waiting to talk to you.
Where is he, on one or
two?
Oh, good. Steve.
Hi, Gerry.
Sorry for keeping you back. I know you've got a dental appointment.
Not a problem.
I'm getting a tooth out Monday, and I can't. Sorry,
it should
go
have
ahead.
been 2:30, but they moved it forward. You know.
Tell him to stop doing that.
All right, no, he won't.
Tell him.
No, it's all right. It's gone.
Tell him to stop telling jokes.
It's gone.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I know you've got a way with parrots, as someone's spoken to you in the past. But I've got an amorous female, single, genuine tortoise called Michelle.
Mm-hmm. Michelle.
Now, she enjoys Michelle.
Is that a pun?
Well, it could be, yeah.
Okay.
No, it's a tortoise.
All right then. Okay.
Right, she enjoys solids, long walks, and she's seeking a like-minded male for some TLC with a view to fringe benefits. In other words,
yes. How's your father? Is your mother still working? Yeah.
That's why I had the pregnant pause there.
I know.
So a 4-year-old tortoise, you can't import them into the country anymore. But if there's anybody in the Bangor, Donegal area that possibly has like-minded male,
good sense of humour.
Possibly
GSOH.
Sorry.
Good GSOH. Good sense of humour.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And NS as well.
What's NS?
No smoker. Non-smoker.
Non-smoker.
You're so innocent.
Emma and I don't know these things.
Emma, tell him about this.
Emma didn't know. Emma asked and I asked.
Emma knows rightly.
She didn't know. She didn't.
When you're looking for a partner, in all the magazines, you say NS.
We don't look in magazines.
I know, but you don't read.
We don't look in magazines.
They're in papers and everything.
You don't read. Do you read those letters?
Yeah, of course you do.
Yeah, well, I'll blouse. That's all you are.
Call me a blouse.
That's all you are.
I'm curious.
You're an old blouse.
I've got a good sense of humour. I'm a non-smoker, and I'm a white single male. That's a WSM, NS, and GSOH. You can't knock me. And PM. What does that mean?
I have no idea. The Prime
Plenty of
Minister.
money.
Well, is there a fee? Is there a fee
What's
involved?
OC?
What's that?
OC. What's OC?
FOC.
No.
Is it FOC?
No, OC, own car.
Yeah, but what about
FOC? I can think of one.
the mating process, free of charge?
Well, I mean, it's against the law to charge for that one.
You're looking for a female. Well, hold
I'm
on
looking
a
for a
minute.
male.
Let's nail this down here.
What?
He's
It's
looking
against
for
the
a male
law.
tortoise who will mount.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to do it.
What?
Are you not allowed to do it?
No, you're not allowed to do it. The tortoise is okay.
No, but are you not allowed to do it? Or are you not allowed to charge for the service?
Well, I don't know. It's the oldest profession in the world, so I'd assume by charging you would possibly infringe on some law.
Sean, things are different in the world of the toy toys.
Yeah, but
toy toys?
Toy toys.
Things are different in the world of the tortoise. Now, if you get a Galapagos tortoise, or indeed a Galapagos turtle, I don't know which, that's a bigger problem. But this man is innocent until proven guilty. He's looking for a male tortoise to service his female tortoise, or tortoiselle. So we cannot stand in his way. All we can do is not to query as to whether this is legal or not. We must facilitate.
Well, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Where will it go to have the babies?
To a little tortoisery.
But where does it go?
I don't know.
Do they not normally go up a beach and dig a big hole and,
That's
do they?
that's that turtle.
Well, what about
turtles?
Yeah, but okay. Well, where does a tortoise go?
Tortoise just
A
goes in
tortoise-
his little tortoise house.
Where does it go? Is it in the jungle? Where's it go?
The
It
jungle.
goes into hibernation, but it goes into a cardboard box with straw.
Yeah, that's like the
and then
jungle,
comes out
isn't it?
and comes out with a family.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, it's a slow process.
How long?
I'm not sure of the length of it. It just depends on the male tortoise, I suppose.
Now, hold on a minute. Let's not let this get out of control. This man is looking for a male tortoise who is eager to communicate with a female tortoise. That's as simple as that. It's no big deal.
Right.
Understand? So
Yeah.
let's help him.
Yeah, we
so
are.
anyway, where do you live, sir, roughly?
Roughly Bangor.
You see, it's
County Down. Yes,
Roughly Bangor. All right then. Well,
Bangor.
okay. We if anyone has a female a male tortoise willing to be hired out for how's your fellows, your tortoise still working?
What a hairman tortoise do? A hairman. Mary's got.
Is that a John Herman tortoise? Or
I don't know.
Stop it.
Mary's
Why didn't you
got
ask what a
one.
Herman tortoise was?
May's got one.
Is she?
May's got a man who come round and see you. Come round and see
all
you.
right. Well, look, I'm willing to separate the offspring.
But this is legal, is it? Is you have
Of
to
course
get
it's,
this.
what are you? Some a policeman? Well, of course it's legal. That's
How
like
do you
saying,
know it's legal? He said a minute or two ago it wasn't legal.
What I said, it wasn't legal to import them into the country
Oh,
anymore.
right.
different thing entirely.
All right then.
Absolutely.
What two people do in the privacy of their own jungle is entirely up to them.
Okay.
Okay. Well, the message has gone out, and we shall communicate and facilitate this exchange.
Mary will bring her man round.
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll forward you any messages.
That's lovely. Thank you, Gerry. Enjoy the usual rubbish.
Sorry. Thank you. Listen, I remember being in Cyprus one time, and a guy told me a wonderful story, and I'm going to tell it to you again. Mm-hmm. I may have told this to you before, but this is absolutely true. There's a place in Cyprus, which may be well known to the listeners, called Coral Bay. And there are lots of hotels there and lots of, package holidays too there. Mm-hmm. I was there many years ago, and it's a beautiful, beautiful bay. And the fellow told me, he said, this is where, for thousands of years, the turtles have come ashore to lay their eggs. And I said, that's a wonderful thing. And he said, you can see that on one particular night of the year. And he told me the night, but it was obviously not the night I was there or anywhere near it. And I said to myself, I really must come back and have a look at that. And he said, a terrible thing happened last year. Right? I said, what happened? He said, in the meantime, in the past, this is when the Coral Bay was kind of isolated, and the Cypriots didn't really value the turtles all that much, so they allowed people to build, on the beach. So practically on the beach, not on the beach, but there was a road there. And on the beach, at a particular spot, there was a nightclub, right? And you see, and they didn't think of it. They built a nightclub. And then when the time came for the turtles to come, what they do is when they judge their passage by the moon, okay? So a turtle basically comes out of the water and he goes, Jesus, boys, this must be Cyprus. I wonder if there's Coral Bay. Oh, there's the moon there, look. If I head for that moon, that'll get me to the part where I can get rid of these eggs and I'll go straight back. So that's what they do. They've done this for 1,000,000 years. So what happened was the turtles arrived, they looked up and they saw the moon and then they saw the disco lights, the disco in the club. And they were heading up to the club.
No, it was brilliant.
And do you know why they couldn't get in?
No.
They were wearing shell suits. You're no fun. See, that was actually true.
Yeah.
But I added that bit at the end.
Yeah.
The full moon touched the cold steel lines. The rail bed was frozen with ice. In the distance, an engine was keeping good time. The steam whistle moaned just twice. Down in the cut, past the old trestle bridge, 12 fine horses stood. Masked men shivered in the cold on the ridge, not far from the Glendale woods. The brass lamp shone from the swaying train when the driver saw the red light. Her iron brakes sparked like silver rain, and the meadows screamed through the night. The baggage man peered out to look for the fault when fear froze up his heart. He was staring down the barrel of an army Colt that threatened to tear him apart. We will burn your train to cinder, so throw the money on down. Open up your damned express car and jump down to the ground. But we want the saddle woman. She's Southern and they claim they ain't offered no reward for Frank and Jesse James. Frank and Jesse James. In long soldiers' coats, frayed with the years, quickly they scrambled aboard. Men were sweating and the women shed tears, and the preacher prayed to the Lord. When they opened the safe, there was nothing for them, so they strolled down through the train. What a miserable sight, these desperate men robbing old folks for their gold watch chains. We will burn your train to cinder. Go throw the money on down. Open up your damned express car and jump down to the ground. But we won't the cattle woman, be Southern and they claim they ain't offered no reward for Frank and Jesse James. Frank and Jesse James. Now some say the devil had taken his soul. Some say his spirit survived. But we all know he was nothing but a Missouri farm boy, just fighting to stay alive. High above there's a ghost of a chance you can still hear old Jesse call. We will burn your train to cinder. Don't throw their money on town. Open up your damned express car and jump down to the ground. But we won't put that old woman. She's southern and they claim they ain't offered no reward. For Frank, Jesse James. For Frank and Jesse James.
Oh, that's good. I thought it might be nice to play another track from Levon Helm's Dirt Farmer. That's a track called A Train Robbery. Do you know the other day, well, no, it was today, wasn't it? You see,
What?
do you know what's wrong with me today?
No.
A man rings up and he says, what's wrong with me today? Everything's going wrong. And he says, I'm losing it. I'm not losing it, just everything's going wrong. He said, you never gave the information about that song you played by Suzanne Vega. I didn't. It's called Cracking, and it's from an album called Close Up, Volume 3, Stages of Being. First of all, everything cut out, and apparently there was some kind of power blip as well, and then my microphones got up and down, and then I can't hear anybody in the phone. For God's sake, how
Well,
am I
you're
supposed to
doing
function?
all right.
I'm doing okay now. I'm doing
Colin-
okay, but I'm just saying to the people that I did lose it there for about 10 minutes.
it's all right,
I didn't realise what I was doing.
Settle
but I'm
down.
all right.
You're
I'm
getting
back.
angry. You're
It's
getting
all right.
angry.
I'm back the way I am. I'm back now.
No, don't now. Colin in Dunmurray rings to say there's a cafe in Dunmurray selling a fry. It's a 17-piece fry
17-piece?
for $5.50 plus tea.
What's
Could
in
you-
it?
A 17-piece.
Did you ask him to identify all the 17 different objects?
Everything you can think of multiplied by 2.
Everything you can think of multiplied by 2. That's it, goes on the fry.
That's 8.5 things.
So what would that be? How would
Egg.
that be? 2 eggs,
Sausage.
2 sausages,
Black pudding,
2 black pudding.
white pudding.
Ugh, you what? I don't like.
We're
Okay.
changing our bets here.
All right then.
Black pudding, white pudding, beans,
Beans,
mushrooms.
mushrooms.
Do we have eggs?
That's 6.
Sausages, bacon,
Potato bread, 7. Potato bread,
bacon.
7. Oh, but bacon. Thought about bacon. 8.
That's it. That's it.
That's good.
And then another half of something.
Yeah.
That's great. You couldn't eat that though.
No, you couldn't.
Do you know what I was thinking? I remember reading something a while back about parrots. The gentleman was saying it was very difficult to sex a parrot, and he was explaining how we could do it. I remember reading something about that quite a while ago, because as you well know, parrots will not breed in front of humans. You know that, don't you?
No.
So, but you can guess what particular type of the year the two parrots may mate. I mean, if you've got a male and a female parrot, and you don't know which one which one is male and which one is female, the only way you can find out is by trying to catch them mating. But you can't do that. But there is
So
a way.
are you telling me that you have 2 parrots sitting in the cage? They'll wait for you to leave the room before they.
Yeah, but you'd be the same, you know.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
But there's a way you can find out. If you figure that they maybe have mated in your absence, if you go into the room right away, you can tell which is the male and which is the female.
Why?
Because the male is the one smoking the cigarette.
Right, there's a call for you. I see that coming.
You didn't see
Yeah,
that
I did. There's a call.
Will you stop?
No, there's a wee call. There's a man with information.
Titanic the musical. The man is looking for a ship's wheel and a telegraph. That's the device that communicates with the engine room. Engine ahead, engine ahead. Full stop, full speed. That one. No, you go down the thing.
Is that a telegraph?
It's like a horn.
Is
and
that
you
what that's called?
Yeah. yeah. In 1912, that's what it was called. Because
telegraph?
the telegraph, not the Belfast telegraph, the one that's after
I
Nolan.
never knew that was called a telegraph.
The Belfast Nolan. No, it's called the telegraph. But then, you see, the telegraph became the name of the telegraph. You see, the telegraph, the Titanic was one of the first ships to have a real telegraph, wasn't it? In
I don't
1912.
know.
It was. That you could actually...
You're the boy that wrote the book.
I didn't write the book. I've done a documentary on the Titanic for Radio 4. Which
Several?
Is on, no, but yeah.
This is your second
This is
or
my
third. Second, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
an expert.
I know you are.
Anyway, this particular documentary that I did is not about the sinking itself. It's about the people in Belfast's attitude towards the Titanic over the years. That's what it's about. It's a different angle. So it's not looking at the sinking.
About time someone did that. All right.
Well, I think it's a very good program. And it's on Saturday, Saturday. Have you got a... Hold on a second. I have to do everything myself. I have to look at my phone now.
What?
I'm trying to find out what date the 12th, 13th, 14th. It's on the it's on the 13th of Friday the 13th of April at 11 o'clock in the morning.
William Crawley had a wonderful discussion a number of weeks ago on his programme about the Titanic, about the yard, the attitude within the yard. It was very, very interesting.
I'll tell you something that you don't know.
I know.
A long time ago, I did a programme called Anderson on the Box, a television programme. Do you remember that?
I was there.
You were there. And
remember I used to have the clipboard?
I remember. There was nothing in it.
Yeah.
And do you remember we did a programme on Titanic?
No.
You weren't there that time. We did a special programme Titanic, and do you know who I talked to? Eva Hart.
Yes, I remember that.
Remember Eva Hart?
Yes, you talked to her on this programme.
Eva Hart was the person who remembers being handed into the lifeboat and remembered the face of her father, the expression on her father's face as he handed her in to the people in the lifeboat. She was 12 years old. She died a number of years ago. But round about, what was it, like 1998?
Was she not younger than that?
No, she was 12.
I think she was younger than that.
No, at that time she was 12.
No, I think she was younger.
You were with Gerry yourself to put him right.
No, she was 12.
I think she was much younger.
What, like 4 months?
I think she was
What's your telephone
only a couple of years old, not 12.
07798.
I
think she was about 4.
Whatever age she was,
yeah.
She was handed in to the lifeboat. And in the Greenwich Maritime Museum had a big exhibition on Titanic, and they played that programme on a loop for a year. Did you know that?
Your interview with her?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. That's nice.
I don't know why I'm telling you that.
No, I think...
They want the ships... No, and this programme is very good. It's on Friday, April 3rd.
The ship's very good.
I'll be on holiday that day.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
No, you won't.
Friday the 13th?
Oh, Friday the 13th you will?
Of April. Yes, I won't be here.
But you said it was on...
Friday the 13th.
Oh.
Is that hard to remember?
No.
Friday the 13th.
No.
At 11 o'clock in the morning. You'll be on the radio probably, so I urge the people not to listen to you and to listen to Radio 4 documentary with me. We urgently need a ship's wheel and a telegraph, the device that communicates with the engine room for engines ahead, astern, etc. So he wants to appeal to anyone in the province if they have any of these items.
We have them.
Well, okay.
They have them. John from Larne phoned
What has
in
he got?
earlier to say he's got a wheel and a telegraph. I thought it was... I genuinely... I didn't know what you were talking about, and I thought John was talking about a Belfast telegraph. I didn't know. But he's got a telegraph and a wheel.
Will you put him on to David Robinson of the Belfast Operatic Society? I've got his number here.
Yeah. Well, you hold on to that. And
We'll do that after. So that's considered done.
Yes.
And another gentleman writes to me and he says, regarding the man who's looking for a Titanic claxton, bell, telegraph key and other sundries, he should contact the Dalbeatty Titanic Museum in southwest Scotland, funded entirely by James Cameron as Fob-Off Payments Fund, where this year there is more in the window than the usual display of tat. You see, lots of people are ahead of the game. There's all kinds of Titanic exhibitions everywhere in the world and have been for years. Belfast was very late getting on the barrel. Sorry, the ball. An original press cutting is flowing proudly.
But they've now surpassed everyone, I'm sure.
Yes, they have now, but it was late in coming.
Yeah.
Dalbeatty is the town from which the number 2 and Lieutenant Murdoch hailed, commonly celebrated in Scotland as the man who single-handedly sank the Titanic. He is remembered and revered for his courageous and heroic acts, including the final alleged shooting of himself in the water, no less.
I suggest that to him too.
Did you ever hear about that? He was supposed to shoot himself in the water.
I
He blamed himself. He blamed himself for the Titanic going down.
Brown?
Take care.
No.
Who?
Murdoch.
Murdoch.
Number 2. He blamed himself.
Oh, really?
The conclusion that he sank the boat was reaffirmed for millions of TV viewers following a Channel 4 documentary a few years ago. After years of backstabbingly painful and bitter speculation, the museum has previously successfully claimed, for reason, purpose, safety, the rights of anonymous. So that's a long, long story, that. There are so many mysteries attached to the Titanic. Do you know what it is? It's a black swan. Do you know what a black swan is?
No, tell me.
A black swan is an event that rises above everything else that all the circumstances, they would never happen again. It's like 9/11. Titanic, it's a phenomenon known as a black swan. You know how rare a black swan is? They call unusual, really unusual phenomena. If any one of 1,000 factors had not been present, the Titanic would not have sunk. It was just inevitable, as if God had planned it. And a lot of people in Belfast, religious people, thought that it was the work of God because he deliberately sank it, because there were so many coincidences. If something had been a second later, 2 seconds earlier, if the water had been different, if this had been that, if that had been that, there's a million things. If only one of them had not occurred, the Titanic would have been fine. It's an amazing story, and I'm fascinated by it, and you can tell by my passion. Gerry,
you said yesterday you were fed up with Titanic.
I change from day to day. Now, for instance, you take our own city.
There's a man on one.
Take our own city. Take our own city. What are we famous for?
Shirts.
Yes. Anything else? Our walls.
Our walls.
What's the most famous thing in the eyes of Americans?
Thanks, John.
In this city?
Mm-hmm. This is where Amelia Earhart landed.
Oh, right.
The first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic landed in Derry. There was an Amelia Earhart Centre set up. They closed it. There was a vote in the Derry City Council last night not to rename the airport the Amelia Earhart Airport. They said it was no point. The biggest thing in America is Amelia Earhart, and we are so silly here that we don't realise that. Gerry, you never read out my texts, but just got married to the lovely Amanda on Saturday and heading to Benidorm for a week. So please read this text out. That's from Ozzy in Larne.
What about the man on one?
Good morning, sir. Sorry to keep you. I had stuff to say. He's
Good morning,
not on
Gerry.
there. Yes, good morning. How are you? Sorry, I thought you'd gone away.
Well,
and I wouldn't have blamed you.
I'm not one of those that hasn't gone away, you know.
I'm not away, you know. Well, what can we do for you? Oh, Pat, it's Pat Farron.
What?
Pat, it's Pat Farron, is it?
It is, yeah.
Oh, good morning, Pat. How are you?
Good morning, Jerry.
What can we do for you today?
Well, no, you were on earlier about sort of tests for pigeons and parrots.
Yes.
In the sex department.
Uh-huh.
And you were saying that it'd be a good idea maybe if someone could come up with a test for men, for provide that thing for men, for women
to prevent women wasting their time.
Huh?
I think there's a... See, do you know how many women are wasting their time by going out with men, and 3 or 4 weeks later they realise that they're horrible? If they could find out, right, they see a guy and they say, I think he looks nice, give me a report on him.
Right.
And they should get a report, they should take something from him and send it away to be analysed.
Jerry, do you not know that right in front of your eyes and under your very nose, when you were a showband man,
yes,
and playing to sort of roomfuls of dancers that you don't have a lot of time for, sort of like a lot of showband men. But that's what dancing is about, and that's what women use dancing, or they did then, for to check out what they call, sort of the prospective partner.
Yeah, but you don't. What can you find out dancing with a man that he's not smelly?
Jerry, wait a minute. You sort of don't use what they call take my word for it. You ask any woman and ask your colleague in there on the phone how much what women take cognizance of the way a man dances in terms of his suitability.
Well, if that had been the case, I'd never have been married.
Well, you must have compensated some other road.
That's because I'm handsome, dashing, and rich.
Coincidentally, there's a very unique test for in terms of sort of establishing the sexuality of of a person.
Not the sexuality, the sex of a person. Sexuality is different.
Well, now what I say.
Sexuality is a person's willingness to. Anyway, go ahead.
There's a test that I was introduced to, and it was in the mid-60s. There was a dance hall down in Belfast called the Boom Boom Room.
That's right.
And on this particular night, a very famous star, the biggest star I ever saw in Belfast, Little Richard, came in.
Oh, Little Richard in the Boom Boom Rooms.
Yeah. If I remember rightly, I've got my memories I'm getting cross-wired, but I'm almost certain it was him. And on that particular night, he brought out a very, very different crowd into the Boom Boom Room. There was what he called, there was sailors, and there was, and there was waiters well-known waiters from local downtown restaurants, and some of them were dressed as women.
Yes, right, okay, because Little Richard, of course, was gay.
Up the country I'd never seen this carry on before.
See, Little Richard was gay. See, a lot of people didn't realise that.
Oh, well, he was
Yeah.
bisexual, as I understand it.
Yeah.
And
did this shock you?
Flamboyant with it, which what brought out the crowd anyway. Well, we knew nothing about this. But it was very obvious that there was women in there that weren't right.
No, let's not say that. No.
No, but I mean, what, that weren't women.
Okay, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's
No,
just that they weren't
I'm not saying
women.
there's anything wrong with it. But
Yes.
for young fellas, it was the time when you went up and asked people to dance, and you really did want to, you have some sort of an idea who you were dancing with, right?
You don't want to be dancing with a man.
Exactly.
Yes.
And there's a fellow we got talking to now, there's a regular in the place, and he says, there's one sure way of checking out whether it's a man or woman before you actually lift them.
Can't think what that might be.
Well, he called it the matchbox test.
Yes.
And he said what you did was, and this was at the time now, just to when you could ask girls to dance, and if they didn't dance, they could be put out.
Right.
Up in country halls, not in the town.
Okay. Yeah.
When you would approach a girl, you would have a matchbox.
Yes.
And you would catch her eye, and you would throw the matchbox to her.
Yes.
Right? If she spread her knees to spread her skirt to catch the matchbox,
Yeah.
that meant that she was she was a woman who was would be practiced and using that to catch a matchbox.
And if it was a man?
If it's a man, he put his knees together to catch the matchbox.
That's just brilliant.
There you are.
That's fantastic.
Cheerio.
Goodbye. I'll tell you, you can't follow that.
No.
You can't follow that.
There's a wee call for you.
A man wants to know
two.
when does the show start?
There's a call on 2.
Yeah, I know.
So wait a minute now. I just want to picture the scene. So you're approaching this girl, this person, and you throw the matchbox.
Yeah.
Now how would you throw a matchbox to me? I'm standing up now. Right? I'm pretending somebody's throwing a matchbox.
Yeah.
If you're throwing a matchbox to me,
throw a matchbox at Emma.
I would. My legs went together.
I know. Yeah.
My legs went together.
Yeah.
She threw a pen there. Emma threw a pen at me, and I tried to catch it, and automatically my knees went together.
Hmm. You should have kept your knees together, Emma.
There's a call on 2. Good job, Emma can laugh.
Oh God! Oh, listen, I'm in trouble now. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Gerry. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks.
No, it's just about your ship's telegraph. It's Robin
Yes.
here, by the way.
Yes, okay.
It's about your ship's telegraph is not the thing you shout down, okay?
All right, what's it called?
I can't remember, but the ship's telegraph is the mechanical thing. You know, you see them putting it in astern or forward or neutral or, you know what I mean?
It's like a crank?
Yes, that's basically it. It's like
Oh.
a throttle change. So it actually, when you put it into quarter or half or full, it actually repeats down in the engine room.
Ah, right, okay. Oh, thank you for that. No, I had no idea what that was. I was just guessing, you know.
Well, there's a guy I'm friendly with. You would remember, well, maybe you don't remember, the Navy was in Derry, Londonderry.
Yes, of course.
And he worked on a steam tug that belonged to the Navy. And he said at one stage the boss or the captain of the steam tug wasn't very good, so he actually, when he was in the engine room, he stuck his head out the hatch, and he actually had her change gear before the captain, because the captain kept hitting things. So he really didn't need the telegraph, because sort of he drove himself from behind. So
yeah. Well, this gentleman does. You're right. This gentleman does say the telegraph. He describes it as a device that communicates with the engine room for engines ahead, astern, etc. So that's duplicated down there. Oh, that's great.
That actually, I was thinking your previous caller. You know, your dance hall thing. If you actually sort of had a telegraph, you know, that you'd say you're male or female, or you're looking to go back or forward, it might have done all right.
That would have been okay, yeah. Well, listen, thank you very much for that.
Right, before I go, Gerry, can I have a wee request? I rang you 2 or 3 times. It's for a guy called Raymond Finnegan. Raymond's a good friend of mine from Derry, Londonderry.
Oh, good, okay.
And I hope he's trucking around the countryside and warm and well today. And I know that you'll not play it. The music was pretty bad today, but when you came on about the telegraph, I thought I would give you a ring.
No, thank you.
But you wouldn't play Status Quo, Caroline. Sweet Caroline or whatever it is.
Caroline. Yeah, but Gerry likes status quo.
Explain to him, Sean.
You like status quo.
I do, but I don't
you
like
do,
Caroline.
and you like status quo.
The
singing
best rock and
all over
roll
the world.
record ever made is Rockin' All Over the World.
Yeah.
I will play it then.
I don't have it.
Do you see that thing?
You
Is that?
never fucking sorry.
Do you see? Do you
stop
see?
that.
Do you see that thing?
I apologise. Sorry, the gentleman didn't mean to say that, but we have to cut him off.
Yeah. Do you
Anyway,
see that thing that you're talking about? Is that the full steam ahead? And you know the jing 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 jing.
Yes. It's like
Jing,
your till at home.
jing.
It's repeated down the engine room, and a man does that. It's
Yeah,
repeated
yeah.
downstairs. Apparently, Colin Hay played Belfast last month, and I never knew. Very sad about this. These are some messages. Thank you for the Tony Joe White song. You'd never get bored with that. I never get bored with it, I have to be honest with you. Gerry, could you please announce the first Achilles Boys Brigade host a country gospel concert in Soldierstown Parish Church this Friday night at the 30th of March, featuring Kenny Archer and Tony Kerr. And another message, the last time I saw Gerry Anderson in Cookstown, he was very, very drunk. Traffic news, collision on Pomeroy Road. Dungannon delays, a little information for people travelling up that way. Gerry, could you please play The Fisherman's Day by the Rapparees? Great tune by a great local band from Paul, who's driving to university in Belfast. Well, I played them the other day. Play songs he has recorded. Ask Gerry to play songs he has recorded with bands he has played with. Well, there's not many.
One.
No, there's more than one.
Have you more than one?
Yeah, but
Have
not
you more
that
than the wee boy up the tree.
Not that I just sang on that. I also played, but I played on others.
Well, what? Go on, name one.
Can't.
Please.
Hi, Mr. Anderson. You're like an old black and white TV on the blink this morning. Well, that's what I feel like. Good morning, Albert. Would you please play... Albert? Step toe, yeah. Would you please play Mary Black singing Sonny? If you have it, thanks. No. Please find out what Geordie thinks about horse trading being banned at the Lammas Fair. Isn't that terrible? They're going to stop that, and then they're going to have horse shows as well. It'll be like Disneyland soon.
Could you say happy birthday to a very good listener of yours? It's Lizzie Lockery.
A very good listener?
Well,
What does that mean?
loyal listener. And
Protestant?
she's
A
95 today.
Yeah. Okay.
95.
Is she?
Lizzie Lockery from Letter Shandoni, 95 today. A big fan of Daniel, and could you wish her a happy birthday?
Why don't you
Lizzie.
wish her... Why doesn't Daniel do it?
Happy birthday, Lizzie. And
What age is she today?
95 today. God
That's a queer
bless us.
score.
That's wonderful, Lizzie. And God, if only I could see half of it, I'd be happy.
You've already seen half of it and more. Gerry, thank you for playing Bright Blue Rose song by Donna Target. It was fantastic. We're going to get Donna into the studio to sing for us some week. We'll be back tomorrow. Goodbye.